Nancy Shaver.
Thank you, Paul. And it is indeed a beautiful day, and we are about to hear a beautiful voice. So, Carolyn.
Anybody here seen my dear friend Dr. Hayling? Can you tell me where he's gone? I thought I saw him walking up over that long hill with Abraham, Martin, and John. Good morning.
Good morning.
I started saying, oh, what a beautiful morning. Because it is. This is the day the Lord has made, and I'm going to rejoice in it. All right, now, the idea is I need you to help me with some songs. Only 2. But I need your voice. I'm going to get my civil rights one of these days. One of these days. Oh, I'm gonna sit at the Woolworth counter. Anybody do it? I'm gonna sit at the Woolworth counter one of these days. Hallelujah. I'm gonna sit at the Woolworth counter. I'm gonna sit at the Woolworth counter one of these days. One of these days.
Good morning, and a good morning it is. And I'd like to welcome and recognize my colleagues who are here from the Commission, Liana Freeman, and Nancy Sykes-Klein, and John Regan, who's our city manager. All of these folks and the commissioners who are not here, who wish they could be, and particularly after that singing, Commissioner Todd Neville and Commissioner Roxanne Horvath. They were not able to attend. So here we are. This will long be remembered as a very special day for our entire community. If we look around, we're seeing the fabric of this amazing community. A year and a half ago, we gathered here to dedicate this park, the Dr. Robert B. Hayling Freedom Park. Since that day, many people in our community have visited here to enjoy a few moments of peaceful freedom of their own. So today we're gathering once again, and we're dedicating a piece of art, an astonishing piece of art, that will grace this space with a silent display of both lasting solid strength and also fill the space with the transforming music of these chimes, both meditative and celebratory. But first, I'd like to share with you why this day was chosen. It was 50 years ago today that Martin Luther King Jr. was taken from us. One of those terrible days that we will always remember. But Dr. King has never left us in spirit. Through his leadership, his unwavering courage, his example in word and deed, and his deep commitment to a bedrock principle of who we are. We are all created equal. We are all beneficiaries of the better world that he worked so hard to create. And he did that hard work, not with bitterness and hatred and name-calling, which has become so common today, but with nonviolent, steadfast purpose and commitment, and most of all, with love for all. I'd like to open my comments with some thank yous to the groups and individuals who were the midwives and the shepherds and the heroes who made the Chimes Project a reality. Hands-on folk whose dreams, thoughts, words, deeds, and generosity came from a deep and abiding belief that the time was now ripe for a project that was only envisioned several years earlier. You can learn more about all of the sponsors
and the commemorative chimes and the stories behind some of them on the temporary signs that are by the path. Without direct partnerships, especially those of our city and the grassroots organization, Keep Riberia Point Green, all the moving parts of this very, very complex installation would have fallen through the cracks and chasms. An enormous debt of gratitude goes especially to Cash McVeigh, the organizer of Keep Riberia Point Green, and to our city manager, John Regan, and our deputy director of public works, Todd Grant, and to our commissioners, all of them, and especially Leanna Freeman. Others whom I would like to mention by name include Richard Cook, the Grammy Award-winning musician who created the chimes and other outdoor musical instruments that are being played worldwide, and also Jenny Bullard and Richard Bozon, who along with Richard Cook were the first Chimes Project dreamers. There are not enough words, or perhaps no words, to describe Joe Siegel's work as an artist and a remarkable human being. Joe's talent, generous spirit, patience, creativity, and masterful attention to detail knew no bounds during every phase of this project. And because of that, and the tireless, let's meet the deadline attitude of his committed helpers, Rick Hernandez and Gerard Shannon, we stand, sit, wonder, and wander here today to celebrate a new expression of our civil rights, Lincolnville, and St. Augustine African-American storylines. Without Teresa and Alexius Ferguson, who coordinated the tile project with teachers and students at the Webster School and Boys and Girls Club, and Flagler art professor Leslie Robeson and her students, who mentored and supervised the incarcerated boys at St. John's Youth Academy, we would not have the literal, symbolic, and imaginative storyline that flows like a river on top of that bench. And finally, I would be remiss if I did not thank Compassionate St. Augustine's Board of Directors and Advisory Community for all they have done. As you know, and I hope you know, the title name of this project is Let Freedom Ring. At this time, what I would like to do is invite you to look around and note we are at the confluence of the San Sebastian and Matanzas rivers. Both may share traits and characteristics, but neither is the same, as it flows on its own to this point and then merges, without questions or debates about whether or not that union should happen. And at that indescribable moment in time when the exact merge begins, they move forth together as one more powerful and united entity that is destined to meet and then later merge with other bodies of water along the way. To let the core values of this project, democracy, human rights, tolerance, civility, and compassion, ring as a positive, affirming, and healing voice. I close saying, let freedom ring, and thanking you for the opportunity and privilege of speaking to you this morning.
Thank you for coming out to support this dedication. I was asked to briefly talk about Keep Riberia Point Green. Almost a decade ago, the original plan called for this beautiful land to become a park. Several years went by, and the plans transformed into a proposed commercial tourist development. The proposed tourist attractions would have required tens of thousands of vehicles per year to travel through our downtown neighborhoods just to keep the doors open. Before she contemplated running for elected office, our mayor, Nancy Shaver, was the driving force that started the Keep Riberia Point Green movement, along with Judah Serapin, Rosamond Parrish, Sue Agresta, and the late Pat Riley. They were referred to by some as the crazy ladies. If wanting to create this is crazy, everybody should be crazy. As the Keep Riberia Point Green movement gained steam, Peter Ingerbright, Kevin Lang, Mimi Vreeland, and Joe Siegel produced 3 concept plans for the new park. All 3 plans contemplated a congregation area as the main component to the park. What started as a few marks of color on a piece of paper became this important public art installation visioned by artist Joe Siegel. And the collaboration was born through Keep Riberia Point Green, and both projects found meaning together at Dr. Robert B. Hayling Freedom Park. In closing, Keep Riberia Point Green hopes that the Let Freedom Ring Chimes Project will serve as a benchmark for future improvements to the Dr. Robert B. Hayling Freedom Park. Thank you.
Good morning. Let freedom ring. Let freedom ring. Lest we forget what happened in this place, we are compelled to proclaim, let freedom ring. The shout that resonated around the world helped promote freedom in this place. Freedom for educational opportunities, economic opportunities, social justice, balanced by a moral compass. Here and now is our opportunity to make a difference in our community. Support the sponsors of the Chimes Project. Support the LMCC because we do things that matter in this community. Dr. King quoted a writer who said, "A 1,000-mile trip begins with the first mile." Many things have evolved over the last 10 years, 50 years, and the realization of the dream still persists. Let's make them realities. Let freedom ring.
Mr. Alexius Ferguson of the Community Partnership at the Webster School.
Good morning. Guys, I'd like to say thank you on behalf of the children, our art teachers, Ms. Leeks and Ms. Colleen Lahat, as well as our principal and assistant principal, Ms. Bethany Groves and Deborah Donlin. So I didn't do this by myself. I was a middleman. We had to have a lot of meetings and a lot of discussions to make it happen, but it was the kids' work that made it happen. So those kids are the ones who Lou Holtz has a quote that says, "Life is 10% about what happens to you and 90% about how you respond to it." My question is, how will you respond to the things that happen to you? Will you be on the right side of history? Better yet, we have an opportunity to shape culture. We can make this a proactive process. We don't have to respond to anything. We have the opportunity to write our story. I'm here today to impress upon you as an individual and as a citizen of St. Augustine to write your story. My view of the Let Freedom Ring's Chimes Project, I take great pleasure in being part of this project. We live in a society where controversy and division have become commonplace. In contrast, St. Augustine, Compassionate St. Augustine, Keep Riberia Point Clean, and the city of St. Augustine are building bridges to help unite people. I want to leave you with these words. Keep on loving each other as brothers and sisters. Don't forget to show hospitality to strangers. For some who have done this have entertained angels without realizing it. Remember those in prison as if you were there yourself. Remember also being mistreated as if you felt the pain in your own bodies. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I feel so blessed to be in this very special space on this very special day. Senator Nelson wishes that he could be here himself, but I do have a short letter to read on his behalf. Dear friends, welcome to Compassionate St. Augustine's Let Freedom Ring Chimes Project dedication. Congratulations to the city of St. Augustine for being the first of its kind in the state of Florida and 20th in the world to be named a compassionate city. This distinction is truly commendable, and I am happy to see Floridians commit themselves to improving their communities. I also applaud the visionary leadership necessary to implement the Chimes Project, which will interpretively pay tribute to St. Augustine's African American and civil rights history. It is fitting that this dedication ceremony is taking place on the 50th anniversary of the passing of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who devoted his life to making our society more equal and inclusive for all Americans. I hope that this art installation and new role as a charter for compassion continues to serve as inspiration to advance the just, tolerant, and compassionate society that Dr. King envisioned for us all. Sincerely, Bill Nelson, Senator.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let true to our native land. Amen.
Thank you again, Carolyn. That's a perfect entry point, I think, to our next moment. If Karen Goldman will come forward and lead the children in the moment we've all been waiting for, the ringing of the chimes. Thank you all for being here today.
Somewhere I read of the freedom of assembly. Somewhere I read of the freedom of speech. Somewhere I read of the freedom of press. Somewhere I read that the greatness of America is the right to protest far right. So just as I say we aren't going to let any dogs or water hoses turn us around, we aren't going to let any injunction turn us around. Well, I don't know what will happen now. We've got some difficult days ahead. But it really doesn't matter with me now, because I've been to the mountaintop. Like anybody, I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place. But I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will. And He's allowed me to go up to the mountain. And I've looked over and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land. So I'm happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.